Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are well. I hope you're having a good day. And as I said last time, this week we're looking at righteous among the nations, or righteous Gentiles. The third righteous Gentile I want to talk to you today about is an amazing person, but again, like Schindler, very controversial. So this man, his name was Leopold Sokha, and he lived in Lvov. He was a sanitation worker.
Leopold's job was to maintain the sewer system underneath the town of Lvov, Poland.
Well, while he was down on one of his journeys, he discovered a family and few families together who were hiding from the Germans. Initially, of course, he thinks, I better tell the authorities about them, but they convince him. They say, listen, we'll give you money if you can bring us food and wash our clothes and take care of us and protect us. And that he does. What's interesting, though, is that one of the people in the sewers, if you can imagine, well, they recognize him because a few years before, he broke into their house. You see, he had been busted for breaking and entering. He was no saint. And initially, he helped these people just for money. But when the money ran out, he still helped them. He, like Schindler, realized that these were good people and he had to help them. So every week he would bring in bread, candles, and newspapers, and anything they needed. And of course, they would bring out their lice-filled clothes. Leopold Sokha's wife washed those clothes, and then the next week they would bring back clothes. And there they were, far below the earth. They could not see the light just from the sewer openings. They were subjected to floods, and of course the spring and the fall, the waters came up to here. There was a fire because they had this carbide lamp that caught fire once. There are two youngest members of the group in the sewer were the Schiggers, and the Schiggers, Christina Schigger and her younger brother. Christina, remember, she's actually the only last surviving member of the group in the sewer. And if you go to the Holocaust Memorial Museum in Washington, D.C., you will see the green sweater she wore while in the sewers. And it is a powerful, powerful memory. It's a powerful artifact. I think one of the most powerful artifacts in that museum. Interestingly enough, when she was allowed to go up, and the family was allowed finally in 1945, 75 years ago this week, she got up, and of course everyone was so happy to see sun on their faces, to breathe non-sewer air. But you see, the younger brother, who had gone in as such a little child, had grown so accustomed. First of all, he was so afraid of the noises of the cars and the open air. It frightened him. He also was so sad because he was going to miss his rats. You see, he had pet rats down there, and he didn't want to leave. So he wanted to actually go back down in the sewer. Amazing story, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, Leopold Sokha did not enjoy his fame long. He was a hero after the war for saving these Jews in the sewer. But as he was riding his bicycle with his daughter, a Soviet truck whizzed by and was going to hit his daughter. So he pushed his daughter out of the way and unfortunately was killed by the Soviet truck. So, Leopold Sokha, righteous Gentile. The last group is, of course, the one that maybe even more than Schindler, although you don't know their name, you know the person that they're associated with. And that's the righteous Gentiles who saved Anne Frank in the annex in Amsterdam.
For a better part of 2 years, the Van Pels family, the Frank family, and Fritz Pfeffer hid in the annex with the help of 4 wonderful upstanders. Miep Gies, Beb Foskel, and 2 others kept these people hidden with food and support.
They kept them safe, and it was because of these righteous Gentiles that they were able to hide. The list of righteous Gentiles is endless. As I said, over 10,000. The person who's credited with saving the most Jews during the Holocaust is actually a Swedish diplomat based in Budapest, and his name was Raoul Wallenberg. The Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C. is actually on Raoul Wallenberg Boulevard, and a lot of cities have adopted his name because he really is the symbol. This Swedish diplomat, very unassuming man.
Raoul Wallenberg issued visas for Jews to get out of Budapest, Hungary. He was a hero. Some people say he saved tens of thousands of people. Unfortunately, after the war, he was taken in for interrogation in Lubyanka prison in Moscow and killed.
Another very interesting guy, his name is Sempo Sugihara. And Sempo Sugihara saved probably second or third in terms of the amount of people, about 6,000. And he was also based in Kaunas, Lithuania. He was a Japanese diplomat, and he gave exit visas to Japan for thousands of Jews. Some people say, as I said, 6,000 Jews. And he just stamped these passports, and it was amazing what he accomplished. And even at the end, when he was fired, he was recalled back to Japan because people found out what he was doing, and because Japan and Germany had an alliance, they weren't too fond of what he was doing. And even as he was leaving by the train, he kept stamping people's passports. They held up the passport, and he stamped those passports. And even as he got on the train, he just kept stamping the passports out the window, and finally he just threw the stamp out to the people. So, an amazing guy.
Like Sempo Sugihara, another upstander we need to mention is Sir Nicholas Winton. Sir Nicholas Winton was a British man based in Prague during the occupation. He saved hundreds of children by sending Jewish children to England to safety. It was only later in life that he gained international recognition. And I'm going to leave you with a YouTube clip, it's amazing, of him, well, getting special recognition.
Please tune into that. I'll have that onto the hub. So don't forget Nicholas Winton, and it'll make your whole day, I promise you. Remember, study hard, don't panic, and be well.